All right, this next section is about government regulations and how they affect supply and demand. And we're basically going to talk about rent control. Okay, we talked and looked about this graph in class. This one's pretty standard. Demand line there, supply line there, have price right there, and demand. Now, for the purposes of this graph, we're going to say that our equilibrium point for the apartment is $1,000 per apartment. Okay? At $1,000, there are 30K, K stands for 1,000, there are 30,000 people who are looking for apartments and have demand for an apartment at $1,000. Okay? So this is our equilibrium point here at point A. Okay? Pretty standard graph, okay? But what happens when Uncle Sam starts to get involved? Okay? We got to draw the same points basically. Supply and demand. We have quantity demanded down here. Oops, switch that. Demand is here. Price is here. Now, before, you can see, right here is still our equilibrium point, if there was no government regulations, okay? That is still point A. Notice, these are exact same. The graphs are identical. Down here, 30,000, okay? Problem is, here at this line, right there, we have rent control, which means that the government has said you now cannot sell apartments for any more than $600 per apartment. Okay? Now both the law of supply and demand come into effect here. We have this point here, which we're labeling point B. This point right here, which we are labeling point C. Alright, so at $600 per apartment, suppliers, landlords, are only going to be willing to supply 20,000 apartments, okay? Because we know that as prices go down, on the law of supply, as prices go down, so does supply, okay? But over here, on our demand line, where the demand line crosses 600, demand has went to 40,000. Now, is that different from over here? Okay, at $1,000, without rent control, demand was $30,000. But over here with rent control and apartments are locked at $600 per unit, there's demand for 40,000 apartments. Okay? So what I discussed with you in class is that this area right here, this is excess demand. Okay? There are exactly 20,000 people out there who want an apartment at $600 per month, but can't get one because the supply right here is only 20,000. Okay? So this is an example of how government regulations can impact supply and demand in the apartment market.